Direwolves and cast it in the ban for Absolute.
Yeah, don't want that one to go over to Perfection. Very target ban coming through there for Absolute. Maybe they have something in mind that they want to run into the mid lane. We see that a lot of people actually like to take the Cassid into Victor at the moment, see if they can shut him down throughout the mid game. So maybe mid base trying to prioritize that champion.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to see. We actually saw Twist of Fate from both these players recently, so that could be a thing as well. Sivir, though, the ban from Absolute, going to be that AD carry we saw Chippy's play. And Rise, despite the change, we're on 5-12. Don't forget, he has seen a couple of changes, couple of nerfs. Rise still very strong.
Yeah, exactly right. And Sharp still not wanting to pick that guy up in the top lane, so they blue side ban it yet again for the Direwolves. Don't want to give that one over to Jack Attack. He was the first player to bust Rise out in the OPL. Had a decent performance on it, but not going to have the chance tonight to prove that he can definitely play.
And Azir, actually, the last ban there does leave that Twisted Fate open, but for now, we are going to start with Rek'Sai in the jungle.
Yeah, Cyber, just a very aggressive jungler, wants to impact lanes early, get in there and really try and catapult Perfection ahead where he can start impacting the lane. So I like that they've gone with the gank-heavy jungler first.
I like it as well. Sybil's definitely been, like you said, aggressive, looking at the best of times. So Absolute, a nice response here. We are going to have Alistar, a very popular support, a big pick for Nada, but Midbeast just takes away Twisted Fate.
Yeah, Twisted Fate gets picked up by Midbeast, and that's a huge pick away from Perfection. You have to say that when he was playing it, sacrificing his own lane to getting his teammates ahead, this time a lot of pressure on Midbeast. You have to make the Destiny work early, otherwise it's not going to be I guess, strong enough pick away.
No, we saw it from Midbeast. Looked okay, but not the same aggression that we usually see from Perfection. That man just ultimates on cooldown to try and kill people.
Yeah, exactly right. And you see that right now he's hovering the Fizz. That would be a huge pickup if he's able to make that one work, because Fizz just able to take out the TF at every stage of the game.
Yeah.
We've seen it a little bit in the top, a little bit in the mid lane, but I would expect Perfection to launch himself onto that champion.
Locked it in there as well, I believe. So Fizz going somewhere. Strong counter pick to Twisted Fate, if that's what they want to take away. Considering another pick, though, looking at the Morgana potentially as their pick away here for Sybil. They've already selected their jungler, so of course that's going to go over to Sybil, their jungler, but it is going to be Morgana, probably for Nada in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and you know, it counters a lot of the aggression that will come out of Alistar, at least in lane. So we'll see whether he's able to make that work or potentially roam around the map, look for the picks. Maybe they'll lane swap, see if they can get Chippies to 1v0 and secure some all-important farm on their new AD carry.
And I guess, yeah, Chippies being the addition here. He is a sub. We've only seen Sivir from him. He was playing support, I believe, and I think jungle or top at one point, top lane actually, for the Dolph. So he's done a lot of work here as a substitute, but we've got Jack Attack's marker locked in. First mate takes away Corki. Absolutely zero surprises.
Yeah, 100%. I'm surprised it wasn't on the ban list, to be honest. He's got something ridiculous like a 33 KDA on the champion coming in here. Absolutely huge for him, and he showed with 2 victories last week that that is his preferred AD carry. Goes a more auto attack build, likes the Berserker's Greaves coming through there, gets an Infinity Edge after he goes Trinity Force Blade of the Ruined King. So a lot of standard DPS comes out of him for what should be a spell-weaving AD carry, but he just doesn't like to play it that way.
Just much more of a carry player, to be honest. Even on a champion like Corki, that's what First Mate brings to practically any team. But Direwolves, considering their next few picks here, Chippies does need an AD carry. I saw Vayne ever so briefly. Probably not going to see that one here, but we have actually got Shen locked in for Sharp. He'll take that into the top lane.
And you know, I actually like this because it gives a lot of dive potential over to Perfection. He can dive in there, doesn't have to use the Playful Trickster to avoid spells, can use it purely for damage, because there's going to be a huge shield coming through to keep the assassin in the mid lane safe.
You can keep it, honestly, purely for transport as well. Can just ride into the mid lane with the Stand United, using that Urchin Strike and get work done, as we do have the Jinx picked up for Chippies there as well. Absolute, now considering their final pick.
Yeah, see what they want to go with. They are hovering a very aggressive jungler right now for Malik. Jarvan seeing a little bit more play around the world. Primarily in the top lane as maybe a pseudo-assassin, but we'll have to see. They do go for it.
Yep, they lock it in. That should be, you have to think, Malik's champion. And you look down the Absolute lineup, and one thing comes to mind, Spawn. It's just pure comfort right now.
Yeah, exactly right. Absolute able to secure some very nice picks for themselves. I mean, excited to see Mattress back in the lineup. We saw Strawbella last Thursday, and whether he's able to continue the aggression. Strawbella seems to be the good defensive support player. Mattress definitely more in your face with the aggressive pickups. And when you couple an aggressive AD carry with someone like Mattress, you would just expect fireworks from Day Dot in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and First Mate aggression, that's a very easy and obvious way to describe him. His Corki, aggressive Valkyries forward, lots of damage, living for a long time in team fights and carrying his team. He is the sub player here. We've seen him for a while in the competitive scene. If you're kind of familiar with Oceanic, you'll definitely have heard his name before. He's a fairly good AD carry player.
Yeah, exactly right. Used to play a lot of Draven. He is that big carry for the team. He was also at one stage a top laner coming through there as well for Team Envy. So he's played a lot of positions. He's one of the veterans of the team, and he's come back in emphatic fashion, continued that strong play. And this game is so important for Absolute. They need to win this to continue their run towards playoffs. Otherwise, they're just counting on Avant to lose. And that's not a situation you want to put yourself in. Avant being very strong in the last couple of weeks. Had some up and down moments as well, but you would expect them to try and close hard.
Yeah, I don't think I would bet on Avant losing right now. That team looks excellent in the last few weeks. Again, also trying to secure their playoff spot, which we'll talk about more as the night goes on. But we can see the team comes on your screen, and let us know. It's pretty interesting stuff between them as far as the picks go, but let us know on Twitter who you think is going to win. Use the hashtag DWin for the Direwolves or ABS win for Absolute.
Yeah, and you know, we've spoken a lot about what Absolute get out of this win, how they still continue their run. Direwolves, if they get this win, they secure themselves at least third spot, and that's so good for them. Means that they don't have to go up against the Chiefs. Their scary side of the playoffs is number 1 and 4, so we'll see whether they're able to continue this run without their star AD carry. King now noticeably absent for the second game in the row, and will we see whether Chippies can continue that performance that he had game 1, or will they try and focus him out with some good Jarvan ganks early in the game?
I mean, you have to think, you said it already, the aggressive bottom lane here coming through from Matchups and First Mate. You have to think they are going to be looking at Chippies. He saw a lot of attention in the last game they played, but Perfection and Sharp and Sybil sort of all stitched it together and managed to find themselves a win. If I'm Absolute right now, I'm absolutely targeting this bottom lane out.
100%, and Sharp did show up last week. He proved that he can be the carry when his team needs him. Perfection is playing incredibly well, so cannot overstate that you might have to give some attention to the mid lane. Mid Beast will struggle with Twisted Fate. If he's ever caught in transition looking for that destiny, maybe he's just not paying too much attention. Perfection has legitimate 100 to 0 potential from level 6 onwards, so this is a lane that Perfection should be able to win. It's rough level 1 to 5 because of the stack Death Harak that does come through, but onwards from that point, it's very easy for Fizz.
And that for me just feels like the Fizz thing in general. Like, before you get your ultimate, things can get a little shaky.
Yeah, it certainly can. There are some matchups, like melee especially, where you can bully around. I'm looking at like Yasuo, where there's not really a bad time for you in the lane, but definitely against a lot of ranged champions, you just have to kind of weather the storm. You use your health as that resource. Get a flask, get some potions, make sure you stick around for the last one so you have 4, and then just continue to trade CS for your health pool until you can go back, get some boots, as well as the Sheen, and just try and kill everyone.
Yeah, and that's Perfection to a T. He loves to get aggressive. We've seen him roaming around. He's played some scaling mid laners as well. The Vladimir and Azir sort of come to mind as picks that he's quite proficient on. But if anyone's going to have a good idea of how to counter Twisted Fate in a lane, it is going to be Perfection.
Yeah, it certainly is. He's one of the 3 legacy Twisted Fate players that we talk about. You know, Perfection, Swiffer, and Kenzie, all there in the mid lane, all play a really good Twisted Fate, and they've all been around for so long. So we'll have to see whether he's able to continue that. And now playing against one of his mains, this is a really good feeling when you know the matchup inside and out. I'm sure he's been fizzed multiple times on TF from the other end. He's going to be able to look to deal some punishment of his own.
Yeah, and look, Perfection's a player that he might not be the best Twisted Fate in Oceania. That's, I think, up for contention, but he's certainly the scariest given the number of bans the man draws on the champion.
Yeah, 100%. People think that he has a limited champion pool. I think he's done a lot to dispel that myth. It was only a week ago, I think, that teams were throwing 3 bans at him, and he was pulling things out like Vladimir and doing a lot of work. So, yeah, pressure is on him, especially with the sub AD coming through and a new support player. Nada has looked like he's his aggressive self. Nada is one of the people that if he falls behind, he will single-handedly try and win or lose you the game as quick as possible because he is just such a playmaker. We saw that against the Chiefs. And, you know, with a safe top laner, with Perfection in the mid lane, that was something you felt they needed in Shuffer's absence. They needed the return of the Flash Bros down to the bottom lane to really give them some danger. Otherwise, Sharp was just getting picked on, camped out. We saw Legacy do it time and time again and just punish the top side of the map.
Yeah, 100% agree here. And it's been nice to see the Dials with Nada sort of playing a little bit more like their old selves. But I look honestly at both team comp spawn, and it's just aggression across the board. Both these teams love to brawl in the early stages.
Yeah, it certainly is. And you know, it's about, on the side of Absolute, to catch them off guard, make sure that they have the team fights on their terms. But in a raw 3v3, 4v4, Direwolves just have so much strength.
Well, they do indeed. We'll have to see if they can leverage that at all as we're going to get into the game. Hop over to the caster desk with Atlas and Rusty.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. And Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the caster desk. This is going to be massive going into this game. And look, Direwolves just focusing out this Twisted Fate pick, saying you're not going to get anything done. But I'm looking at First Mate. This guy's got his Corki again.
Yeah, that guy, man, his KDA is through the roof right now. Has had a ridiculous amount of work done on Corki. Corki is a champion undefeated in the OPL right now, up against the Direwolves, looking to continue that winning spree. And on the back of First Mate, from what we've seen so far, is a pretty high chance it will.
Yeah, First Mate actually with the highest KDA for a single game in the entire OPL. He's only played 2 games, already made them count. But of course, we'll see whether he can do it again. That was against different competition now up against the Direwolves. They're going to be a tough opponent. And look, I like to see Chippy's on the lineup, but they might be missing King another week in a row.
Yeah, that's right. Up against First Mate in particular, as we have just mentioned. Maybe Chippy, he's not an AD carry main. He is a top main, so not always the most ideal scenario to have him playing that AD carry role. We've only seen him play Sivir, so can he put it together in this game?
Well, we'll see whether he can, ladies and gentlemen, as we hop onto the rip. Direwolves against Absolute for our first game of the night. Perfection taking the Fizz into the Twisted Fate matchup, and Midbeast must be pretty annoyed about that one and pretty ready to level up some wild cards and try to stay out of the lane.
Yeah, we might see that cooldown reduction to Twisted Fate where he just doesn't want to be a part of the lane, and we're actually looking at Direwolves potentially face checking.
Yeah, there's the gold card. Nada's going to get knocked up as a 3-man knockup with the Poltergeist. First blood already to First Mate, sorry, is Sybil. He's going to have to flash away. Absolute. Pull the trigger very early.
Nada walking directly into all of them. A very easy trigger to pull, and they find a very simple first kill right there. A little bit of over-aggression there, placing 1 ward down. Actually, not even placing a ward, just straight walking in.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's interesting. There. And First Mate's going to go back. Decides to go with the longsword, of course. Could have picked up a Ruby Crystal if he wanted to, but going for the aggressive start. Grabs an extra potion there as well, and already this lane a whole lot harder for the Direwolves.
Definitely a lot harder. Most likely see that lane swap, though. Definitely do not want to be a part of a Corki lane as a Jinx when he has a longsword over you.
You almost don't want to be part of that Corki lane anyway, even if it's even, especially paired up with Mattress on the Alistair, of course. The Alistair Corki, that's a heck of a lot of burst and a lot of CC potential there as well. So, Absolute not going to be able to get that 2v2, and Chippy's just hanging out by himself there in the top lane. And Nada nursing his wounds. Going to be coming back into this one. Perfection just hanging out.
Throwing his wounds into their face.
That's a very good point that you bring up there, Rusty, because of course Nada just wandering through the enemy jungle. He's not done yet.
So he's got
to go. There's the Dark Binding. Jack Attack is just getting bullied. Of course, these, in fact, 2 champions with the highest base damage, auto attack damage in the game for their respective melee or ranged.
And you know what? It was not only obvious that Nada won that, the fact that he got all of this extra gold just from auto attacks as well was wonderful.
Midbeast taking a little bit of damage there from the playful Trickster. Perfection just going to be chugging through these flasks as well. Any harass from Midbeast is going to be wearing off, and already towards full health once more. So Perfection well and truly in control of this lane, but that's what we were expecting.
This is a very interesting jungle path to be chosen here by Absolute. Looking to make it hurt, but going for the Krugs instead of their own red. You can see Direwolves have a ward on that red buff from the aggression that's been placed there, and they've conceded themselves a 3 buff.
Yeah, and it looks like the fast push potentially on here on the bottom side of the map. Malik, he's coming through. He's going to have that standard there to boost everyone up, and Nada stealing away a red buff here, as you were mentioning before, but might be in trade of a turret. Who necessarily wins? I mean, Malik is going to be behind, but they're going to lose an early turret.
Yeah, so it's going to come down to if Sybil can make an impact by having that 3 buff start. He's got his top laner working around with him, of course, so direct experience not directly favoring the side of Direwolves. They are sharing it, but in saying that, the tower's going to be worth a lot more gold than a red buff.
Yeah, Absolute already with a slight advantage as far as that gold is concerned, pulling ahead to close to 1,500. 20 CS to 15 as well in the mid lane, but Perfection with quite a few minions to clean up. As the Direwolves, they are going to answer. Absolute going to be taking a dragon at the same time.
Seemingly one step ahead right now, Absolute, of course, finding themselves the dragon and the tower whilst Direwolves are left to respond. But again, we have to touch on the fact that the junglers of Direwolves are going to be far, far more ahead. It's if they can make this dragon work, it's not a direct money amount that they're going to get from it.
Yeah, we'll see how they're going to transition into the next stage of the game as well. Absolute already with quite a few advantages picked up for themselves, but that may change as we move forward. Direwolves going to even out the gold somewhat here by picking up this top lane outer turret, and it is going to be within 400 gold once more.
Yeah, Jarvan quite good at this 4v0 style that we are currently looking at. Of course, having the E that you can put down the flag, benefit the rest of your team, give some armor to everyone, some attack speed. So all in all, a very good pick into this draft if that's what they were looking to do with it.
Yeah, and of course Jarvan sort of pulling himself back into the meta just a little bit. Why is that, Rusty, now that we're on 5.12?
Well, he just suits it a lot better. I find that just the way that he goes around the meta is a lot more suited to the rest of the team comps, the play styles that we're starting to see now. All in all, he's very strong again, but it's mostly for that reason.
Okay, and of course, moving his way towards the top side of the map. Looks like the fast push is well and truly on as First Mate now building towards that Phage. Was unable to pick up too much more as the pickaxe is going to be gathered there by Chippy. So a bit more auto attack damage available for the Jinx. But it's going to be absolutely fine as Absolute just going to be pushing with this Corki all day.
Yeah, they're looking to get towers down. They're not looking to fight directly just yet. And it's interesting, of course, they're doing this against the Jinx, which is not something you're often used to saying or seeing. But they are making it work so far. And it is also worth noting while we're looking at the mid lane, the difference in their items as their first buy.
Yeah, of course, completely defensive start here from Midbase picking up that Negatron cloak. Is very interesting. Perfection decided to grab a book and, of course, a ring there as well. Midbase starting to actually do a bit of hurt there with the turret auto attack. Of course, that one's going to hurt.
Of course, it is going to be doing a bit of damage, but having the Negatron
Whoa,
first.
Ignite down in the bottom lane. Direwolves looking for a dive here. Sibyl's going to pick up some turret aggro. Immediately flashes out to Jack Attack, but Sharp's teleported in. Picks himself up a kill, and they might be able to pick up the turret as well.
Jack Attack thinking it was making a play to get out there, but the fourth member appears in the background, picks him up, and they clean themselves up a kill. Most likely the turret, but the answer is already here from Absolute again.
Yep, able to take down the outer in the top lane as well. These turrets very, very similar on health, and Absolute, they grab theirs. Bottom lane going to fall down as well, but the kill goes over to Direwolves, so slight advantage.
Only very slight, though, the advantage, of course, around 300 gold. Not worth mentioning, but whilst we have a look at the actual map and the fact that it has completely opened up now, keep in mind that they've got a Twisted Fate from Absolute. Now, there's no tower to run back to anymore. His ganks are a lot more potent.
That's a very good point. We'll see whether we're going to see a little bit more from Midbase, sorry, as this game goes on. Of course, Mattress did play mid lane for this team once or twice. It does get a little bit confusing, of course. I think it's probably about the 4th or 5th unique lineup that they've brought. Absolutely. Definitely utilizing their subs, this team.
Most definitely. They've found themselves in a lot of interesting positions. Seemingly have made it all work, though, so it's nice to see them back in more of a standard team style.
Yeah, it seems like First Mate here to stay as well, playing his 3rd game on the Corki. We'll see whether he can have another breakout performance. Only a kill going down a piece so far. And who does this suit? As this game sort of calms down a little bit, is this better for the Direwolves moving forward?
If the lanes calm down to the point where standard lanes do start to break out, it may start favoring Absolute just because of that Twisted Fate. Jack Attack still having his teleport available, of course. If the game continues to slow down even further, finds an advantage in terms of dragon control, which isn't available just yet, but it will be up most likely before the teleport from Sharp.
I like how decisive you sound.
Yeah, so it's completely decisive right there.
I feel completely fine, but Destiny's going to come through. Sharp is going to be the focus, does use the Shadow Dash. Midbeast able to get the card off in the end, though. Forces the flash out of Sharp, loses about half of his health, but he's going to be fine in the end. Direwolves now with an opportunity to make some plays. They don't need to play around that particular spell, as First Mate forced Valkyrie very quickly.
Yeah, feeling the power of Fizz right there, but the teleport, the taunt in particular from Sharp, very important and clutch from him there to save himself, distance himself apart from that Maokai who had the Twisted Advance ready to go, but could not find himself in range without using a summoner, and that summoner wasn't up.
Not quite yet, still. 500 gold now, approximately the lead for the Direwolves is Absolute. We're going to get something done. 1 minute and 20 on the Dragon as Jack Attack's going to clean up the top lane. Direwolves, after that first blood went down, definitely been able to normalize this game quite effectively.
They have definitely slowed everything down, and you can see even the difference between junglers right now needs to be respected. Sybil able to bully completely Malik out of his own jungle. If he looks to do that, of course, the rest of Absolute looking to stop that from happening. But the difference, a Cinderhulk compared to a Health Crystal with the makings of what is going to be a Cinderhulk, not even close.
Yeah, and there's also the fact that Chippy's able to pull ahead by about 11 CS here as well. The sub top laner picking up the AD carry role and making it look fine. And they won a game with Chippy's in the AD carry position. He was playing that Sivir, a little bit more utility-based, but now looking perfectly fine on this Jinx.
Yeah, he's looking good, and I have to admit, though, the longer they stay in this lane as a 2v2 style lane, but it's Perfection and Chippies, the more time they are effectively wasting in terms of that farm. You can see First Mate was here, now Midbeast is here. They've been transitioning between, and they haven't actually managed to push much onto the turret here, Direwolves. So finally both recalling, but at the same time, everyone's starting to push into it. Or are they? No, they're going bot side. Dragon in 5.
Yeah, it looks like Sharp has just prepared the bottom lane as well. Looks like he's frozen that one out there for Chippies to just pick up, farm it out as he sees fit. Midbeast's going to be able to take down the Rift Scuttler and Absolute start up the Dragon immediately as soon as it's spawned.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. Direwolves looking to contest this one, though. They're going to have to earn this Dragon if they do want it. Sybil has himself a sizable health discrepancy between the two right now, so Absolute respecting the kill potential.
Yeah, Direwolves much more healthy now as well. Malik down to half health. Of course, Mattress as well, trying to use that Triumphant Roar to get himself back to the right position there as First Mate's going to clear out that minion. That ward, sorry. Midbeast here in the mid lane just clearing things out. Making sure everything's fine, but Direwolves now with vision control perfectly around this Dragon area are going to start that one up. Malik, yeah, he's figured out what's going. That's a very good point. Nowhere near perfect. Dark Binding knocks to find Malik. He wants to come through for a steal. Going down quite low. Teleport comes in. A little bit of miscommunication there from Absolute as Chippies is going to lock down the Dragon. Perfection now down to about half health.
Wow.
Lots of damage. The exhaust comes through. Is going to go down. Mattress picks up that kill. Lots of damage here available from Chippies if he can get these auto attacks off. But Sharp, he's been picked as well. First Mate picks up a kill. And Absolute, they're going to back away. Trading the Dragon there for just a few kills.
Oh, they're still going.
Well, actually, yeah, big fight here as Sybil's going to start this one back off once more. Jack attack is going to survive for now. The Zap not going to find anyone, and Absolute say, okay, this is about enough.
Yeah, they found all of the kills that they could from that. They take Perfection down, control him with rapid succession of spells. A phenomenal combo between all of the Absolute members to ensure he goes down before he can even use that troll pole. Absolute looking to push mid, they're not going to find it. But on the back of a Dragon trade, 4-2 kills, not bad considering it went on to Corky again.
Yeah, and it's a big deal as well, but we're going to see it again.
So the Jinx and Fish both missing at the start of the fight. So Jack attack able to commit. Very hard to ensuring that happens. Perfection not having a chance to do anything, and Sharp overcommitting, hits a great taunt, but it's not going to be enough to save his own life as he does go down. 2 kills here for Absolute, but they did lose the Dragon.
Yeah, so 1-1 in Dragons now. Absolute able to pick up that very early one, but does mean if they are going to go for that sort of 5-Dragon rush that a lot of these sort of mid-game team comps want to do, it's going to be unavailable for an extra 6 minutes.
Yeah, a very interesting item decision here from Midbeast on that Twisted Fate, looking to go straight for that Abyssal Scepter, make up for what is lacking by the Sorcerer's Shoes, and most likely going to go for the Lucidity Boots instead because he's got that extra early game Magic Pen that he has already needed.
The other thing that I was thinking was he could potentially go for the Mercury Spreads at the same time.
Yeah,
of course, you do want to be able to get away from a lot of the CC potentially coming in there, as Chippies might be able to lay down some Flame Chompers, anything like that. Dark Bindings coming down, taunts from Sharp. There is sort of a lot of CC that's mitigatable with that tenacity if he wants to.
Yeah. Twisted Fate, though, very, very frontline centric when he uses his ultimate, generally speaking, to get into the fray. So not a bad decision when you have a look at what they do have to offer on Direwolves. So we'll see what he wants to go, of course. Does need a bit of cooldown reduction. Morello's Lucidity are the standard to make sure you get that.
Yeah, Midbeast is going to be able to lock down that blue buff. Now, only down by about 6 CS. First Mate doing his very best to try and pick up some farm. Has been falling behind, actually, in comparison to Chippies. And it's exactly what you were saying. It's the fact that First Mate and Midbeast have been sitting in a similar lane for quite some time.
They have been kind of transitioning between farm, taking every second wave each, so you can tell the amount of farm and the way that the dial has been working around their minion control in particular, though. They've been giving Chippies farm on a silver platter.
Yeah.
Every other lane, letting
point.
it push and then leaving so Chippies can farm it.
Looks like the siege is well and truly on here for Absolute, though. Down to about half health is his outer turret. Lots of poke coming in from Mid-Beast and First Mate as the Corky Rocket's starting to do a little bit of work. Almost with the Trinity Force.
Doesn't have the Trinity Force or the Sork Shoes yet himself. So between Mid-Beast, Jack Attack, First Mate, there's a bit of poke, but it's not going to be an overwhelming amount. The big scary factor here is the Direwolves, in terms of their direct wave clear, are looking exclusively at Chippy.
Yeah, absolutely. Now going in for the final push. Everyone bunching around this one, of course, with 2 members missing from this fight. Not going to be able to keep the turret of the Direwolves, and it just goes down here to Absolute. That's right.
As we say, looking at Chippies for wave clear, there's no way a Jinx can get that close to too many members of Absolute without having a threat of dying. So a very easy tower pickup there from Absolute, exploiting the numbers advantage, and I guess the general lack of wave clear that is present from Direwolves.
Yeah, it was nicely timed as well, because now First Mate can head down to the bottom lane. That wave just pushed back after Sharp had frozen that one out, so Absolute sort of losing the minimum, making sure they grab that turret. Not a lot to trade here for the Direwolves.
No, they might be looking at going mid themselves. Of course, Sharp Nada sitting here, and there is a Chippies on the way to push, but 3-on-3, it's going to be very difficult for them to push anything. And you have a look at this Direwolves side and what they're really looking to do with their comp. I don't think a whole lot of it revolves around pushing unless they've already found kills. I'd say that most of it revolves around successful skirmishes and translating that into kills.
Well, Destiny's going to be popped, looking for perfection here on the top side of the map. Gold card does get locked here by Mid-Beast as the exhaust comes through. Jack Attack up here as well. Super Mega Death Rocket not going to find anyone, but there's the fish on a Mid-Beast. Does manage to get out the gold card, but it's not in enough time as Jack Attack does pop the ultimate, and he's going to fall as well. Beautiful use of the Stand United, and Direwolves managed to pick up 1 kill.
And Shen, commonly known as a pick to take out a Twisted Fate from the game in terms of his ultimate and his gank capabilities. We see it right there. Perfection can split push. He can 1v1 anybody, and then if Twisted Fate tries to come in, instantly the Shen uses that ultimate and gets into the middle of the fray. So the fact he teleports in, doesn't have his card selected, has no blue buff and no mana, is a sitting duck. The exhaust pops instantly to ensure Mid-Beast doesn't die, but Perfection saving that fish for as long as possible, ensuring he does go down.
Yeah, really nicely played here by the Direwolves. Just calm and collected. Destiny's coming through. Okay, just use the Stand United. Everything's going to be fine. So absolutely. Back to the drawing board just a little bit. I just don't think that ganking the Fizz is necessarily the best idea, just because he's so tricksy, able to get around from everything. As Mattress looking to try and grab Sharp. Out of range of the headbutt pulverize for now, though. Absolutely just going to be smacking it.
Not exactly easy to gank Sharp at the moment. He is very difficult to kill, super tank. But they do try, Mattress just trying to make something happen. More so just get a little bit of control of that top lane. The teleport available for both. No Shen ultimate available, so they're both going to have to use that to get into this next fight.
Yeah, nice dragon take here by Direwolves. They were already in position as Mattress is coming through, but it's already down to about half health. No vision, as you can see, available for Absolute. There's the ultimate from Mattress, but Dragon's already dead. Sybil able to teleport out if he wants to. Tunnel out, sorry. It's Absolute. Oh, they're trying to start this one. There's the flash on Burrow. Mattress getting taken down very low. He's going to die. Mid-Beast, he's almost dead as well as Sharp picks up a double kill. First Mate completely zoned out of the fight. The Rocket's coming through. First Mate with a really interesting play. As Perfection going to go down very, very low. Jack Attack trying to trade kills. Gets it with the Arcane Smash. He's pretty tanky on this Maokai, but Chippy's able to pick up the ace for the Direwolves.
And Chippies did so much work in that fight. It was ridiculous how well he was playing. For someone that's a top main, he never ceases to impress in this AD carry role. But you have to look at how that fight started, and it's Sybil. The fact that he can get that flash engaged, they're now going to be able to get the tower on the back of that. And this game's starting to turn on its head a little bit.
Yeah, Absolute beginning to lose control, but we're going to see it again. That flash on Burrow.
Yeah, the flash on Burrow was great. The fish at the same time, Sharp at the same time also. They get the perfect engage. First Mate starts to get a little bit hypey here and over-aggressive as Chippy's hitting some nice crits, takes down the Jarvan. Jack Attack makes a trade in the end, picking up Perfection, but he's only soon to this world, not long for this world.
Yeah, he's most definitely not long for this world, Rusty.
It's hard.
It is tough, especially when it's not your native language.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I speak Queensland, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, I can completely understand. Jack Attack. The top side of the map is just going to be clearing out that one as Absolute finally get rid of that pink ward. Sybil takes down a Rift Scuttler as well. Absolute just licking their wounds, wondering what to do next.
Yeah, the entire vision control around that Dragon area was in favor of Direwolves. They were ready to do that, and the fact that Absolute essentially committed to looking for the Dragon, it was a big factor for them taking that super early one. They've at the very least got one Dragon though, so irrespective of how the next Dragons do start to fall, they've got that 6% bonus.
Well, we'll see whether Absolute can hold on here, because of course you're looking at their lineup and you're thinking, okay, a fair bit of sort of mid-game power with the likes of the Jarvan and the Twisted Fate, the Corki as well, but haven't really been able to make that execute. But I guess on the side of Direwolves as well, they do have a great comp, especially now that this Jinx has 2 items strong. That Phantom Dancer came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of items for Jinx right now. In a very comfortable position, of course. Chippy's going to be able to do a lot of work for his team after that last fight, still having this flash available. A very good spot to be in. Of course, the Fizz starting to ramp up, working towards that Zhonya's is not too far from it now. And the rest of the side of Direwolves just looking for tanky items to be that big brutish frontline.
Yeah, already Sharp just going to be ignoring Jack Attack and Mid-Beast in these fights. Of course, First Mate deciding to go for the Sword Boots this time around. Now has the Vampiric Scepter on top of that, but yeah, Sharp is going to take no magic damage whatsoever. And I sort of understand that he's going for some extra poke damage with the Rockets and Phosphorus Bomb, but I think Berserker's Greaves might have been a good idea here too.
So he could have itemized directly into attack speed based, auto attack oriented build. Having the Trinity Force is looking to spike a little bit more now, and it's going to be weird to say this, but based off the build that Mid-Beast has, his damage is negligible and he's almost bridging Mid-Beast to the later stages of the game by making himself stronger immediately.
Yeah, doing his very best. We'll see how this game continues to form up for Absolute, because Direwolves have been team fighting very, very well. Not really looking like they're noticing the lack of their star AD carry. Sybil and Mattress is going to knock each other around. Sybil not going to get headbutted over the wall though, as First Mate is here. Malik's around as well, as there's the Destiny. Direwolves might be caught out just a little bit, as in comes Jack Attack. Stand United used as well, but Sybil's going to die. First Mate grabs that kill. Bish goes wide as the double knockup comes in. Perfection! Knocked over the wall, exploded at the same time as Chippy's trying to get some damage down, but Mattress right on top of him. First Mate able to Valkyrie out the flash forward. Chippy's misses the zap, trying to get some more rockets as Mattress comes in through the backside, but a little bit suicidal there by the support player.
And after all of that, Direwolves not finding many kills at all, only getting the 1 and a 1-for-2 trade total. So a very interesting fight, considering that Absolute were the ones starting that up. The fact that it was that close is commendable from this Direwolves side. Nada already starting half health. They actually catch Perfection here on the Fizz. Knocking him over the wall is Mattress, which is very smart. They take him down very quickly. Malik actually using his ult to escape the Morgana ultimate. And this is where it just starts to implode from this Absolute side. Mid-Beast putting down a lot of damage, but not finding the zap, not finding enough kills. They do pick up Mattress for their troubles, and that's where the trade comes from. All of the beeping health bars of that Absolute lineup. They played the fight as well as they could, but considering they were that low, a very risky position.
Yeah, it was, and it looked like if Mattress hadn't have sort of caught himself in the wrong position after securing that fantastic headbutt onto Perfection, if he had a move background with his team, they may have had a few more bodies in there to bully out Chippies and sort of at least threaten with that Pulverize and make sure that the Jinx unable to go off towards the end of the fight, because that could have gone a whole lot better for Absolute. But in the end, it is going to be a 1 fight. Jack Attack continuing to try and get massive, and we're looking at this Maokai, and I'm thinking that if he gets to a point where he's unkillable, these fights will look very different for Absolute.
Yeah, and you can see prioritizing that armor, making sure the Jinx does as little as possible. Of course, the tank's not going to be able to touch him, and there should be no time where Fizz has to blow up Jack Attack on that Maokai. He should be going for the carries of this Absolute side. So smart itemization here from Jack Attack. We'll see if he can make that work, though.
Yeah, and Chippies as well. He's decided to pick up a Vamp Scepter, so going most likely towards that Bloodthirster as the 3rd item. So not going to have the Glass Whisper just yet. See whether that helps out Jack Attack as far as staying alive against pretty consistent DPS of a Jinx if she's able to get off that minigun damage.
Definitely a lot of consistent damage that can be put out. Absolute again, prioritizing this Dragon area, looking to control some vision around it, but Direwolves not too worried. They've got 2 wards in very key places to see the side. They know there's only 3 of them there, so just waiting for the rest of their members before they consider a fight.
Yeah, they've got 2 teleports available from their top laner as well. Sharp able to get in here as quickly as he likes, as Jack Attack just going to defend this mid lane. Direwolves moving forward. Yeah, Chippy's going for the zap. Oh, Malik just body blocking the Dark Binding, making sure that no steal's going to come in. Mid-B's going to have a lot more wild cards to throw out now. Already had, of course, 40% cooldown reduction, but just wants to be able to have the mana regen, keep things going on. 3 turrets each, as the outer ring has completely gone for both teams. So a lot of extra space here on either side of the river.
Yeah, a lot of space, and you have to question what Mid-Beast can do on this Twisted Fate by having that space available. His build only now starting to ramp up with that cooldown and reduction. The damage not necessarily there, so very difficult for him to make things happen, considering Sharp on that Shen can just press his ultimate. Even if it gets cancelled, it negates the Twisted Fate damage.
Yeah, Chomper's going to stop Absolute from being able to get in here, though, as the Dragon does fall down. Malik unable to get anything done at all as the Fish just gets out of there. Jack Attack now trying to start off this fight. A lot of AoE already down on the Direwolves now as Mid-Base. He's going to get exploded. Sharp picks up that kill. Jack Attack still zoning 3 members, but First Mate finds himself on his own against 3, trying to turn it around. Urchin Strike and a lock down the kill for perfection, and he just hops his way out. Again, another fantastic fight for the Direwolves, and Mattress once more on the run.
He's going to be sitting there for quite a while, maybe try and push a turret down whilst they start the Baron up, because that's just Mattress things at this stage. In saying that, the fight itself, again, Malik trying to make things happen.
The back has been stopped.
That's adorable. The fact he has that available, though, on the back end of that fight says a lot about how the fight went again. Malik trying to go for the Dragon, prioritizing it so highly that he commits so much and dies during the Fish's eating phase of the cycle.
Yeah, and you look at Malik, and I mean, I guess he got zoned out of that fight, but he's 100% kill participation at this point. 0, 2, and 8, so has been involved in this game, definitely getting stuff done, but he's getting out-farmed now by Sybil. Just the Jarvan just not looking that impressive in the team fight phase. Multiple backs to come through as Direwolves are able to get out of here, just trying to buy some items before this next Baron attempt by this side.
It's not even that, though. Malik's trying to make things happen almost a little bit too hard in the way that he's doing it, forcing things he doesn't necessarily need to do. There was no way the rest of his side could back up going for that Dragon. It was already going to go down. They were zoned out. They were stuck in a choke point, first and foremost, against a Shen and a Fizz and a Rek'Sai and a Morgana. There's all of those champions you do not want to be caught in a choke point against. The rest of the side of Absolute all have very high kill participation, 7 or 8
very good point
between them all, and only 6 for Matches because he's spending most of his time dead. They can't actually turn that around and get a good engage when they're skirmish heavy and they're against a very strong skirmish side.
Well, Banner of Command is definitely a contagious item as Minkuel starting that one up. Sharp is going to head back on that bandwagon, grabs that one for himself. Not quite first item, decided to grab the Spirit Visage first up, but now has that Banner of Command. Big old minion heading towards that bottom lane in a turret. Going to attempt to be dealt with by Mid-Beast.
Is the key word right there. Mid-Beast not going to be able to do a single thing to that cannon minion.
Stack deck, you know, stack deck still does some damage. All right. But Jack Attack, Preyseeker's going to find him out here. Sharp continuing the push up, but Mid-Beast with that Destiny is going to be able to get himself into a fight, but Sharp with multiple ways to follow up.
This is only bad things for this Absolute side right now. Perfection can deal with Jack Attack. Mid-Beast has no mana.
Oh, there's the flash, and Chippy's getting taken down very, very quickly. Nice flash to get him out of there as Flame Chomper's here as well. Malik gets the dunk down, but in comes Sharp. First Mate's going to get caught up, but the shutdown onto Chippy's. First Mate just wandering around trying to escape, can't find a good position. He's going to eventually fall down as Dark Binding and Fish both don't find Mid-Beast. Perfection is going to get headbutted out of the fight, and Mattress once again sacrificing himself for the greater good. Oh, the flash on Burrow. Mid-Beast going to get caught up. He does get missed by the Dark Binding, but he's still going to die there as Sybil locks down that kill. Nada just paying attention here, watching Perfection and Sybil rip this tree down. Jack Attack is going to get dived after the flash. Perfection takes down the kill, and he went from 1-3-4 to 5-3-8.
I just want to point out during that fight, this is the longest chase that I've ever seen in my life on this minimap. They've done about 17 circles around the red buff before finally he might look like he's getting away, but on the back of a 1 fight, Direwolves have rotated.
Oh, cheating! Malik is most definitely going to die. He'd be riding right now. Okay, that was a 1v1. Sharp and I were racing.
Yeah, that wasn't fair.
And I was about to win, and then you took all my fun away.
So we're going to see the fight again. Mattress, Malik, First Mate, all knowing they need to make something happen sooner rather than later. Midbeast, as mentioned, using his ultimate, coming in with no mana, so relegated to auto-attack duty as he tries his best to make something happen. First Mate completely caught out, playing the numbers game here, Direwolves, and it's in their favor 100%. Mattress, no ultimate available for him, so a slow and sure death is on the agenda for that Alistar. He goes down.
Yep, Sharp going to be backing as well. That inner turret still alive. Jack Attack defending it valiantly. As Midbeast attempting to reset things. But you can just see in the farm, it's just ridiculous. The amount of control the Direwolves have. Rabadon's Death Cap now completed by perfection. On top of some extra cooldown reduction with those Lucidity Boots. And this Fizz, 3 items, 3 big items. And he's ahead by about 70 CS as well.
Yeah, so he's a little bit ahead, especially because Midbeast has none of their team's kills. He's an assist bot at the moment, not able to find a single thing. It's on the back of almost entirely First Mate to do any kind of damage in this game. And then they can just stack resistances because he's gone for the Sork Shoes build. So all magic resistance across the board, nobody from Absolute doing damage. They try and make a pick, but the only time it's going to work is if it is onto that Jinx or Fizz, and they're outright alone.
Yep. Going to be difficult. Oh, and Chippies decides to forego.
Yeah.
Bloodthirster picks up the last Whisperer there as well. So now with that Vampiric Scepter, going to be keeping himself pretty healthy. Now with the little bow and arrow, meaning that he's going to cut through all of that extra armor that Jack Attack has started to build for himself. Frozen Heart completed now for the Maokai. Spectre's Cowl added on top of everything else. So he's getting tanky. Jack Attack doing some things in this game. 3, 4, and 4, so not bad at all. Still keeping up with Sharp as far as that farm is concerned. And that is definitely admirable. Sharp has been all over these side lanes trying to keep them shoved out. Direwolves going for their 4th Dragon, though. They're going to get that one for free. The answer is going to be from Absolute. There's the flag and drag into the Cataclysm, but Malik going to find himself caught out here just a bit as the Stand United comes in. Shut down, though, under perfection. Midbeast getting eaten by the fish. Sharp needs to be turned on. As Sybil going to get the double knock-up. Jack Attack tanking everyone out. First Mate, he's now in the fight. Can Absolute get anything done? There's the little mini equalizer as Chippies is going to get caught. Malik grabs the kill. Flash out from First Mate. He's still alive. Sybil able to get the knock-up onto Midbeast. Double kill for Malik. Midbeast going to fall down. Absolute, they're winning the fight. Nada with the Black Shield running, trying to get out of there. First Mate wants nothing to do with Sybil, who's so incredibly tanky. Now going to get turned on by the rest of the team. Knock-ups are plenty. First Mate picks up the final kill of this bout, and Absolute grab 4 for 1.
4 members down right now. That is the ideal scenario for this Absolute side. They just turn it on right there, and they get the ideal scenario where Twisted Fate, they catch perfection out, Jarvan, everything onto that perfection. He couldn't even do a thing. He threw down the fish and then he was dead. Shen by himself in the backline after that. They're going to go for this, but Fizz is here.
Yeah, there's a teleport in from Sharp as well as perfection is in there. Oh, Rocket sails past. Nada forced to flash away, but it is going to be Mattress and First Mate falling down. Absolute, they just couldn't do the Baron. It's going to be finished here by Direwolves if they want it. Malik sitting around here wants to try and get some sort of outrageous steal. Not sure whether he'll be able to. I guess there's no smite.
The Jinx is coming, so eventually it's going to go down, as Nada does also.
Everyone is sort of in a little bit of trouble here. Few more dead members of Absolute at the moment, but Midbeast is there.
Baron is the real MVP right now.
Malik wants to be able to try and steal this. He's got 2,000 health on the Baron. They've stopped hitting it completely. They're just tanking it up forever. Sharp heads over with the taunt, just trying to zone him out. Chippies grabs the kill after the flash was attempted there by Malik. Midbeast is now going to get caught as well. He's going to flash away. Chippies, almost lands the zap. Nice juke there from Midbeast. Mattress coming around, wants to help him out. Direwolves, they grab the Baron, and they grab Malik.
The longest fight to ever exist right there, as they just consistently butted heads for as long as possible. All in all, it was a 4 for 1, then it was a lot more than just 1, and then a Baron goes down in favor of Direwolves. So finally, Absolute, they get the fight they're looking for, they make it, and they try and get an objective out of that. Of course, the natural transition after winning a fight.
Can't blame him.
But winning that fight took them so long that Fizz just casually walked back from the base with his ultimate available and just threw it in the pit.
Yeah, and they did no damage to Baron either.
No.
30 minutes into the game, and they just didn't have the damage on their side. It was first mate with Trinity Force Bloodthirster. He still did have some available, but it just wasn't fast enough. The rest of the team unable to get through it, and Absolute threw away what was, you know, a decent advantage, but not everything lost just yet. Just a Direwolves side now with a split-pushing Shen that has a Baron buff.
Yeah, and Banner of Command to boot. So it'll be a Banner of Command on a cannon minion, I hope, and we'll see if that can have a big impact as we're waiting for a cannon. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Sharp is 2, don't worry.
Red team's turret is destroyed.
Yeah, it's over 10,000 gold now, the lead for the Direwolves. About 11,000 in fact, as first mate looking to try and pick up this sideway farm, and Direwolves wanting to try and break the base. And with a Baron buff, it's not that difficult. Nada now getting some forward vision through here as well. Dark Binding finds Malik, nicely aimed there by Nada. Of course, nothing going to come from it whatsoever.
So he's going to get Nada from it.
Oh, no.
Had to.
Yeah, beautiful. I make the sound of disappointment. I didn't say it for you. There's the Cataclysm in though. Destiny comes down. Mid-beast wants to get in amongst this. There's Nada with the ultimate though. Lots of damage from first mate Sharp. He's going to catch him out though, as Chippies has to deal with this massive front line from Absolute. They're running out of options though. Double kill for Chippies as he's just smacking away at Jack Attack, who does no damage. Absolute with the, I guess, attempted last ditch effort to win the game, and Perfection in the meantime, he's just going to be split pushing, grabs an inhibitor for himself. Direwolves now just going to push through, probably pick up the victory off the back of that, but I liked what Absolute were thinking, you know?
Right until the very end, this Absolute side, they knew they had to fight and make picks. They didn't want the game to just end on the terms of Direwolves, so they forced fights, they forced engagements where they could catch someone out of position. They made the trades, but in the end, Direwolves reigned supreme.
Yeah, fantastic play by the Direwolves. Definitely making a very high contentious effort to get to that third place and make sure it's secured for this side. Really beautiful play from them. And look, it looked a little bit worrying at the beginning. First mate managing to pick up first blood on his Corki that he's very comfortable on, but Direwolves just level-headed, carried it out to the end.
A lot of objective focus, but in the end, Direwolves, they're just the stronger side when it comes to that later stage rotational play.
Yeah, still a decent effort there by Absolute, but we are going to throw it out to Pace Your Time and Spawn for some further analysis.
A decent effort indeed. Thank you, Alice and Rusty. But the Direwolves Spawn find themselves with a crucial win with one more game left to go, and that does, believe, secure them playoffs, I think.
Yeah, that secures them playoffs, and it puts them very, I guess, comfortably in the third spot now. Still the chance that they will be knocked out of there. Potentially, but we'll have to see exactly how it works out. But I like the way that played that game. They had a very solid drafting phase come through. They drafted some different things. We once again saw the return of Shen to Team Comps, and it just adds a little different feel to League of Legends.
Yeah, it does. I mean, Perfection had a good game on the Fizz with the counter pick. Chippy's actually played well, but this is the man right here we want to talk about. Not maybe the player Sharp who did have a good game, but just the champion Shen.
Yeah, exactly right. And he adds so many different things to a team comp. He's a split pusher, but actually he facilitates split pushing in his own right. I think we have a first replay to draw up here, and it looks like on this replay that you caught Perfection out. He's on Fizz. He can 1v1 anyone, sure, but if you send two members, maybe you can deal with it.
Yeah, and they were trying to deal with it. They had the Twist of Fate for a bit of additional pressure, but what went wrong here for Absolute?
Yeah, so you see it. He's up there against Jack Attack, and they think they can catch him out. Even though they have not a lot of mana, they think the persistent damage will be enough and CC to come through. But you can see, as soon as the Destiny's popped and the Twist of Fate flies in there, as we roll it out, Shen also has some ideas to be able to jump in. So Perfection, he gets the ultimate. All of a sudden, they have to turn around. Goes aggressive onto mid-beast. They have all their CC to speak of as well. Lands a fish and cleans up the kill. Could have actually been worse, if not from a roaming Alistair for Mattress. And that just shows exactly how versatile Shen is. He wasn't even split pushing them, but just allowing Perfection to do his job.
Yeah, the fact that you got to add another threat there, an assassin who can split push like Fizz into a side lane, you know, he's having a fun time, but you can give him back up there as well. They almost got the other kill onto Jack, like just such a crucial moment. But Shen does other things, but he can also help you team fight.
Yeah, exactly right. And he can save maybe one of the important members of your team. In the next replay that we're going to bring up, it looks like Chippies is in a world of hurt. You know, he's got three members closing in on him. It's an Alistair, it's the Jarvan, as well as First Mate there. And as we roll this one out, you see that Chippies gets this huge shield coming through from the Shen. He's able to live, get some CC down. Sure, he ends up falling, but they throw so much at him, 3 ultimates, and then they have to deal with Sharp. By this stage, he's already 4-1 and 8, and he's able to tear apart the team fight.
I think my favorite thing to do with Shen right now is to just count the number of taunts any given Shen gets in a team fight, because that was one of the major changes that sort of saw the champion come back in, and Sharp's actually still alive right now, chasing people down, as you can see, all off on the bottom side, chasing Malik, but he can just lock people up. It's such a potent CC as Shadow Dash.
Yeah, and it allows everyone else to arrive, you know. It just takes so long to get through that shield. He gets the big taunt afterwards, layers the CC nicely, and by that time, Perfection has arrived. Everyone else is still in the team fight. Chippies gets down more DPS than you would have expected possible from a dead AD carry, and able to continue to carry through the team fight.
And of course, there was a banner of command in that game as well that we just missed, which helps that split pushing as well.
Yeah, it certainly does. So 100% win rate on banner of command, top Shen. Definitely pick that one up.
Thanks, Minky. As we are going to get to a couple of questions, we had a competition, or we just asked you guys to give us some questions last week, and you guys have delivered as far as recent questions goes.
Yeah, exactly. We reached out to the Twitter community and told you guys to ask us anything. So here we go. Question number 1, Petri.
Yeah, if you could pick one of the bottom 4 teams at the moment to make a massive comeback, who would be more likely to do so? That's there from Gub Gub.
Yeah, so right now, for me personally, it'll probably have to be the guys we just saw. Absolute. They've shown that they're able to get it done in some pressure situations. They've got a new AD carry in the situation, and First Mate looks very good, and they just look like they're a little bit more on par with each other nowadays.
Yeah, for me, I agree. Absolutely have looked good, but I think Sin have the tools to make it as a team. They've got the players, they've got the star power, but execution's definitely been their problem recently, but Sin can still rattle off a couple of difficult wins and get there.
Yeah, they certainly can, and you know, when you've got a star mid laner, a lot of support behind him, you would never put it past him to maybe make a late run.
No, not at all. We have another question here as well. As a climbing Silver 5 player, shout out to Silver, what is the best role to play to have the most influence over the game? That's there from Be Maddened on Twitter.
All right, so I'm
Be
going to go
Maddened?
out there
That's
with
amazing.
a different one. Whatever role you play, just play continuously that one role and make sure that it's a role you enjoy, because Silver 5, you're probably going to have to put some hours in to climb your way out of that. In saying that, in my personal opinion, I played jungler when I was new to the game, was able to influence the map early, and I find that it's a lot about attitude. If you get your lanes rolling, people are much happier to play. They start playing a little bit outside of themselves and making plays as well. So I personally go back to jungle if I want to make an impact, although right now it's kind of a little bit different.
Yeah, I have to echo what Spawn says there as well. I'm just someone that has my set champions. I, tend to play mid and top lane right now, but for me, it's more about playing champions and getting consistent on them and understanding the game holistically rather than trying to carry for one single role.
Yeah, the idea behind that is if you focus one champion, you learn the mechanics to the point that you don't have to worry about that champion. You can worry about the map, and a lot of people will make mistakes. You can catch them out, take advantage.
Yeah, so that's one of the best ways to practice. But why isn't Lee Sin? This is a great question. Why isn't Lee Sin being played as frequently this split from My T Civil?
Okay, so I think the problem with Lee Sin right now is that there's so many tanks running around, and he doesn't really have a good way to deal with them. Lee Sin is great early game. He has really high impact when he's ganking lanes. And then between about level 7-ish, maybe level 9, till about level 16, he drops off until about 35 minutes into the game, where one kick can win a game. And that's what they look for, all Lee Sin players. I'm a Lee Sin player included. You just look for the one kick that is going to win you the game. But right now, because of the consistent mid-game team fighting, the tanks running around, tanky supports, he's just not able to get those picks that we're looking for.
And you get those engaged tools from other spots now as well, from the support position, from other junglers, the likes of Gragas, Sejuani, although she's dropped off a little bit, even champions like Rek'Sai. For me, Lee Sin currently with Cinderhulk being a thing sort of accentuates his old weakness, where he was great early, but he kind of just became a glorified support by the end of it.
Yeah, it's also the change we made to his E, no longer attack speed reduction, and Gragas kind of does what he does in a better way right now.
Yeah, just much tankier, able to reduce more damage. To do have another question here. Why is Poppy not played in the OPL? Is it because Lollipoppy is simply too much of an intimidation factor from Kata Junipun?
So if anyone was going to play Poppy, it would have been Carbon, because he started playing it in solo queue a lot at the start of the season, and we never saw it eventuate, which I myself was very disappointed for. Poppy still has some mana issues, little bit of a clunky kit. You need a wall, so maybe run it with something like an Anivia or a Cataclysm. Woo, I don't know, something like that. But, I think Poppy's a lot of fun. I think that the players that play Poppy consistently, especially if you ever run into them in the top lane, are terrifying to deal with. And you're right, that skin is maniacal. It's horrible.
Yeah, we have another... Oh, never mind. And Kevin, to add on to that as well, like, same thing with a lot of main